Okay, welcome everybody. This is 6 Weeks to Success, and this is week number 4. And glad to have Abby and Kira with us. I'm sure a couple others will be joining us. And tonight, Sue Myers, a director friend of mine, is going to be leading us. So I'm going to turn it over to Sue. Take it away.
Thanks, Kristen. Okay, let me get our screen going. Can everybody see that?
Nope.
Okay, see, this is what I mean. Screen share and then
go to whatever the you can go to URL, or you can go to you just have to find it. Once you go to share, there's different things to select.
Oh, wait a minute, try this.
And you might have to reopen. There you go.
Hey!
Hey! Woo! Yay, Sue!
You can hire anybody in Pampered Chef. Anybody could do this.
Yay! I'm so proud of you, Sue.
All righty, so welcome everyone. As Kristen mentioned, this is going to be week 4 that we're talking about tonight on the 6 Weeks to Success program. So first, I want to start by just congratulating all of you who are either with us live tonight or will be listening to this recording. We realize life is busy and we do appreciate you giving us some time. I wish my friend Lisa was on here because our next slide shows her very, very favorite singer, Bon Jovi. So first of all, this is week 4. So it starts with, we are halfway there, but we are not living on a prayer. We are doing what needs to be done, but she loves Bon Jovi. So that's just a wonderful little visual for all of us. Let's do a real quick recap, what we have learned so far during the first 3 weeks. You can read along with me. But we've learned how to increase our product knowledge in order to maximize our sales and our bookings. We also learned that our belief decides what we believe we can and cannot do, and that our brain can be retrained. We have learned how to talk to people out and about and how to book parties at our shows and the words to use at both out and about and party situations. We've learned that our passion shines through and can completely influence our purchases and our bookings at our parties. We have learned that we have to host coach effectively to keep our sales high, our bookings at every party, and a constant pool of leads. And we've learned that our skills will make a huge difference in every party. When you know your product, you can sell your product. When you're passionate about your product, you will sell your product. When you know what to say and you know how to respond to objections and turn those maybes into yeses. When you tweak your host coaching skills, you have much bigger parties with much better results. Host coaching, as we've all heard, is where we earn our paycheck, and at the party is where we pick it up. So the bottom line on all of this is you have to be passionate about what you're saying and doing and believe in. So first of all, before we go into our new topic, did any of you have any questions about the host coaching that was taught last week? Or I'd love to hear from you if you made any videos this week to help your coaching your hosts. On the flip side, I'd also like to know, any of you feeling pretty scared to make your videos? And did any of you have a chance to print off your fridge reminder sheet? So basically, it's a moment to brag about any host coaching ideas or any struggles that we want to take a moment and talk about the videos. Anybody want to share anything from last week?
Well, I'll share.
Go ahead.
This is Kristen. So I didn't do a host coaching video. That's still on my list to do, but I did do live welcome videos to my 2 Facebook groups. So it was to my Facebook parties. So it was a Facebook piece for my live parties, but I did do a live welcome in each of those Facebook events. So anyway, that was a big for me because I'm still getting used to videos, but I did it.
And that's huge because they can put the face, the name, the voice together. So roughly, were you talking like a 3 to 5 minute intro welcome video? How long were those videos?
Oh, I don't even think they were a minute. It was, hello, I'm Kristen. I'm your Pampered Chef gal for the party. And I just did my, let me know if you have any products that you're curious about. I'll be sure to bring them to the party or post into the event, and letting them know. I did a little booking spiel. If you're interested in, as your list gets longer and longer, consider having a party, and also watch what I do because it's super easy and you might want to join our team. So I did the whole kind of selling, booking, and recruiting, and I bet it was less than a minute.
Fabulous. And even if we have shows going, we can always pop on at any time. Some people have done just the recipe prep or talk about the guest special. And so I think we all need to give ourselves a homework assignment now that the kids are heading back to school. We have our own homework, and let's jump on that for during this next week and do some more video. So, and then share results. We'd love to hear how you're all doing. All right, so today, this is very exciting because we are going to discuss team building. And I love this little collage just because there are wonderful topics and ideas on that. So it's all about teamwork. There's no I in teamwork, and we're going to talk about team building. Thumbs up or give me a wahoo if you're ready to build your team.
Wahoo!
Woohoo and thumbs up. All right. So let's take a look. Team building is only a conversation. That's all it is. It's just a conversation. There is not a perfect thing that you could say to someone who's really not interested in the business. And there's nothing really wrong you could say to the person who's ready to sign. You're just helping the potential consultant decide if this is something for them. I think we overthink it. We panic. We try to think through every scenario. What if they say this? What if this happens? It's just a conversation. So how do we know what to say? It's actually pretty easy. We're going to follow a 4-question recruiting sample, and then we ask a question. And I really don't like the word shut up. We're going to listen. We're going to be quiet, and we're going to listen. Somebody shared a long time ago that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and we should be listening twice as often as we speak. So we're going to ask questions to our potential new team members, and then we're going to listen to what they have to say. So this is broken into a couple of components. The first one is when we're talking with our hosts of our shows. Now, this can be certainly live shows and also virtual. But we want to talk with our hosts at least 3 times about the business opportunity. The first time is before the show, and that can be when you're on the phone talking. First of all, let's go through your packet. Did you receive the packet? And I gave you some business information. So the first conversation should be before you even begin the show. And then at least 1 time at the show. It's always nice when you arrive at the home and you're setting up and you're having that conversation. And just kind of talking about, have you given any more thought? And it just kind of, what I do, and I can't speak for anybody else, but what I do is I've already asked them a few times, and if they're thinking about it and they commit and give me permission to say it at a show, then I will announce it to all their guests at that show that so-and-so is going to be my new team member, and this is going to all of a sudden become a kickoff show. But they have to commit before that show begins. If not, that is still my show with the commission. So that's how I choose to handle it, if they've given me the verbal okay, and we can get them signed up, or we can generate extra bookings. The other thing is, if you're having a virtual show, it's nice to do, you can do the door prize, you can do posts about the different kits, a chance to ask questions, and that's always nice in the middle of the virtual show, so you'll have time to address all that before that virtual show closes. And then certainly before you close that show, you want to ask them again about the business opportunity. Kristen and I were on a phone call this morning, and I don't know if you saw that thread, but we have a friend, Sharon Zellen, who she talked about passion for the business, and we should be talking about the KIT credit, and we should be talking about the business opportunity, just like we talk about everything else. And so you want to offer that one more time before the show is closed. You want to reference the KIT credit coupon, and I will give you info later in tonight's training where exactly to find that if you're not familiar. And you can simply ask, did you get the coupon, and what did you think when you saw it? And it's a chance to save $25 or $50 off that starter kit. So if you include that KIT credit coupon in the party, I call it a party packet, the host packet, then you can, it's a nice, easy way to talk about that, because a lot of times people might not even look through everything in the envelope that you've mailed them. This is a nice way to go through that material. And it is personal preference, but if you have a host who decides to join your team, it's up to you whether or not you're going to share the bookings. But I like to give those bookings to those people who are at that show to help that new team member get started. Any comments or quick questions about working with your host? Any success or great words that you've used in the past? Okay, because we will keep going.
Wait, I'm going to pick on Abby. She and I were talking about the KIT credit coupon. Abby, if you're able to share, can you share your thoughts on that?
Oh, yeah.
From the video we were talking about today. Well, what I'm saying is, so, Kristen was my consultant. And I will say this too, before I forget. If Kristen hadn't said that basically anyone who wanted to book from my party, like I was going to buy a kit anyway, but I wasn't actually going to sell. And so I kind of made a deal with her. If there were any people who wanted to have a party, I would do their parties, but I didn't want to do my own party, which was obviously a huge mistake because it was a really good party. But no, it wasn't a huge mistake. But what I was saying is, so I'm the kind of person where, like, I went to a party, Kristen was the consultant, and I basically was like, I want to have a party. And then I was like, I'm doing this and I'm doing that. I'm inviting them. Because to me, I wasn't going to bother doing it if I wasn't going to make it successful. And so what I struggle with is that my expectation is that most people are like that and most people are not like that at all. And so it was really helpful to me listening to the recordings, the calls from last week about like presenting the host, the kit credit as just a host benefit and explaining it in that manner, as opposed to just flat out kind of asking them, do you want to join the business? Do you want to join the business? Things like that, like presenting it as an option for them to use, just like everything else is an option, and kind of get a feel for their interest level starting from that point. And I found that really, really helpful because that was something that I really struggled with, because my feeling is if someone wants to do it, they're going to do it. Because that's how I am.
Well, and I appreciate all of that. And that is exactly what our friend Sharon was sharing today, is that should be the first thing that we talk about in the benefits before we talk about the half price and the extended discount. Mm-hmm. So good for you. While I'm thinking of it, let me just share with you, if you're not familiar how to find the coupons to print out that are really nice from home office, if you go to PCU, and then you go under recruiting. If you go to step number 2 where it says intro resources and you scroll down a little bit, there's the kit credit coupon that you can print out, and it's 3 per page. And I printed them out, and it shows you all the kit options. And again, it's self-explanatory, and it's a really great lead into that conversation. The other thing I want to point out that we're not addressing tonight, but in that same scrolling down on the list under kit credit, there's also some digital interview cards that you can check out too. If you do your business more virtually, or you have someone long distance and you want to talk about the business, check out the digital interview, but basically explore PCU because there's so much information there. But thanks, Abby, for sharing that. That's fabulous. So let's talk a little bit about chatting with our guests at a show. So you want to inform at the show, and you want to plant seeds throughout. And the next bullet point talks about playing a game at a show. You have to find something that you're comfortable doing. A question and answer, a got it, love it ticket activity, stealing hearts with the little bags, a paycheck game. So I will share quickly what I do and what I have done for quite some time. And then I'd love to have all of you share what you do. And if I can get Lisa on here, she created a new game called the Purse activity that has had great results. But basically what I do is I take the 13 hearts out of a deck of cards, and I talk about when the food is in the microwave or the oven, and I've gone over all the management when we're closing the show, the guest special, all the housekeeping pieces. I will tell everybody, and I'll sit down so I'm eye level. I become one of the crowd. I'm not standing up in front of anybody in a lecture position. I'm sitting down eye to eye, and I will tell them that I'm holding 13 cards in my hand. And I encourage everybody to ask questions, and they can ask me anything about a product and I'll answer, but they won't get a card. They can ask me anything about a host, what's involved with being a host of a show, and I'll have the host and I together will answer, but again, you don't get cards. But I will ask them to be really curious and nosy about anything being a Pamper Chef consultant. And when they ask me anything about the business, I will give them 2 cards. And I have a prize for someone at the end. So I'll say, I'm going to share some information because I'm just so excited about what I do. And then if there's a lull and nobody gets started, I might say, oh, Kira, I'm so glad you asked me how you get started. What a great question. And I'll hand Kira 2 cards. Kira didn't say a word, but I just play with the crowd. I give her a card and it gets it rolling. And I'll tell you what, there are people at your shows who will not make eye contact with you, and they will not ask a single question, but they're soaking it all in like sponges. And I've had people sign who just absolutely surprised me because they weren't engaged in that game at all. And so and then what I do for a prize is whatever month we're in. So right now we're the month of August. Whoever's holding the card that says number 8, they'll win a prize, and it can be anything in my little grab bag. But that's manageable for me. I prefer that. And then in that questioning, if somebody happens to ask about the income opportunity, I have 3 envelopes labeled with number 1, 2, and 3, and I'll have index cards with paychecks, and it's basically a starting consultant, a director, and then a career consultant in an advanced role. And I'll ask them to read what's written on the index card and share the paycheck amount. If nobody's asked me that, that's how I'll end the game. And I might say, oh, Abby, I know that you've been waiting for this question, and I appreciate your patience. Let's wrap up the game by talking about income opportunity. And again, maybe Abby didn't say boo about anything, but I've given you the last card, and then I'm handing out 3 envelopes to 3 random people. So that's what I do. I do the 13 hearts from the deck of cards, and I do the 3 envelopes with the paycheck. So I will ask all of you to share in just a second about any games or anything that's worked really well for you. Anybody doing anything that's a good strategy for you?
I have really limited experience with that, so I don't have anything to contribute, but I do have a question. When you guys talk about income, like I'm really new, and all of my parties have qualified, but they've been relatively small, like $300 range. And so I guess my question is, what information do you share as far as income? Because I know like when Kristen did my party, like she has 17 years of experience of her personal income, which I don't really have.
So we always borrow stories from other consultants, whether they're people in our team or other organization. And there are some people who have shared a copy of their paycheck. We have a person, Charlotte Nagai, who is 100% virtual, and she's shared. So I will write a note and find copies of that and send that to you. And you can share that and say, a consultant in the business who runs her business all virtually, this is 1 month's income. And, I think it was $852. And then you can turn to anybody in the room and say, Kristen, if you received this check, what would you do with $852? And all of a sudden you've made people realize there's money to be made, and that could be life-changing. If you're brand new, your first paycheck might be $108. That could be that could be groceries to put dinner on the table every week. So you can share your own story and you can borrow from others. But I think we don't ever want to lock someone into income opportunity. The sky's the limit. You get out of it what you put into it, and building a team is key. So, I shared when I first started, I used to share what I was getting in a paycheck, and I was having fun having the shows. And then all of a sudden, when I realized building a team is where the extra income, because we get compensated from home office. That's the phrasing I use. A lot of people ask, are we a pyramid company? Absolutely not. When we hit our quotas that we are expected to meet as directors, we get compensated from home office, and we get overrides from our team when we hit what we need to do as a business owner. I don't ever say we're not a pyramid business, but I always say that we get compensated from home office, and we earn overrides on our own by bringing in people to our team. So I will find a couple of paycheck samples and send them to you. Kristen, do you want to add to anything do you do the envelopes and the income paycheck game?
I don't, but I do a different game. But yeah, if you could share those paychecks, because for everybody, you're right. Your first paycheck may not be that great, but even if you're still just doing shows, you haven't built your team. Even if you're only making, say, $100 or $200 a month, you don't know who's sitting in that room that $200 really could make a difference in their world, So don't, dismiss thinking, oh gosh, it's nothing compared to other people in the business, because, people are looking for maybe just $200 a month or just $500 a month. So even that, people, see that as real money and something that can make a difference. And then of course you can share the sky's the limit. Look at how much other, money you can make. So there are paychecks out there that will get to you. So anyway,
and Kristen knows, like, that's kind of my goal too, is only about $200 to $300 a month too. Like, I don't have huge goals because I have other stuff that I have to commit to.
Yeah. And I think it almost makes it more real when it's that smaller amount, because like, if you're going around and saying, oh, you can make, $50,000 a month. Well, yeah, there is a consultant that's making $50,000 a month, but it's like not, I mean, that's one,
Right, right.
So I think to share, really real numbers, this is, in my first month, my first paycheck was $100. People will be like, wow, that's great. So, be loud and proud for what you have. And then of course you can share some other options as well.
And,
So,
I'll share that I had one of my newer teammates, her very first paycheck. She was just so excited. She had a little bit of extra mad money. And that day, her youngest came home with holes in his sneakers. And she said, now I don't have to stress about pulling money from one part of the budget. I can take him out, buy him new sneakers for school tomorrow. And and it was so exciting to her. And it was, it was probably like a $63 paycheck, but it was her first paycheck. And she felt just so proud of the fact that she didn't have to look at the calendar and worry about where's that money coming from. And for her, it was a low paycheck, but it made all the difference in that self-esteem. And now her goal is to have a higher paycheck every month. And so you can share those stories. And I think it's real, where you can share what your first paycheck was. And then you can say to anybody in the room, what would you do with that? I've heard of some people who take Monopoly money and they hand out, $100. If you've earned $100 this month, what would you do with that? And it's that visual, and it makes people realize there's money to be made. One thing I will share with all of you that it never dawned on me, I was doing my card game at a show one time, and someone asked me, what do I do when I own all the product? They thought I got paid in product. They didn't realize I got a real paycheck twice a month. And so now I make sure I let everybody know there's real money and income here. So not just product. The last bullet point on this one is to invite everyone during their checkout, when you do full service checkout or your virtual door prize slip, however you're running your virtual shows, you want to invite them. Have you ever, I appreciate all the comments you made, or I enjoyed everything and you seem to have so much fun. Have you ever considered trying Pampered Chef? Or you own as much product as I do and you had as much fun, and I loved how you helped so-and-so with the can opener. I'd love to have someone on my team with your energy. Have you ever thought about this? And then you stop and you listen. And if I have somebody hesitate on an answer, I will say to them, I couldn't help but notice there was a slight hesitation in your answer. What are you thinking? Because again, somebody might be thinking, I can't talk about the business or think about it right now. I've got a football player, I've got back to school, and maybe they want to talk next week. But if you don't ask them to clarify what's on their mind, you may be coming from a completely different pathway. So it's always important to also send messages, call your guests with thank you for being at the show. Sometimes people go home and they look through the book and they realize there's more that they want, and they could be your next team member. So finding out how they prefer to communicate, asking everybody. There's a huge difference between informing everybody about the business and inviting them to check it out. We could be great at telling everybody about the business and then never going that last step. So if you look at this yes form on the bottom, you could print out a picture of the kit, and you could have that in the guest folder, or you could pass them around, and it says, yes, order me one of the kits. Let's set up a party date. And Jennifer Courtney, who put together the 6 weeks to success, has had great luck with this. And I think Stacy Turner also talked about this at one of our conferences. She puts a coupon. Yep, sign me up. I'm ready to start. And then they just order the kit right then and there. So those are some examples of chatting and talking with your guests. All right, so let's take a look at the recruiting conversation questions and tips. So how do you start the conversation when you're reaching out to your leads on your launch list? So first of all, I would encourage all of you to go back to the launch list that you could find in PC University. If you do not have a launch list currently work in progress, then start one. If you have one that you started when you came on board with Pampered Chef, go back to look at them, and then how do you get that conversation started? So you could just start at the top of that list and reach out with a telephone call, a message, a text, a Facebook, whatever works for you. But just tell them you're having so much fun with Pampered Chef. I'd love to have you do this with me. And I thought of you because, I thought of you because, you know, you just relocated and what a great way to meet people, or you just remodeled your kitchen. Or I thought of you because I know you love to entertain and we have all these new products coming out in the fall season. If you compliment somebody, they may say no, but you sure made them feel good, and you also reminded them that you are with Pampered Chef. Some of the questions that you would ask when you're having a conversation with somebody: have you ever considered doing something like Pampered Chef before? This could be someone you're meeting at a show. This could be someone you're calling from the launch list. Have you ever considered doing something like this? What intrigues you about the idea of doing Pampered Chef? What concerns do you have about doing Pampered Chef? And do you have any other questions, or are you ready to go ahead and order your kit today? Those are the 4 questions, very simple questions that we want to ask everybody. But here's what's really, really important. We need to remember when we're offering solutions to their concerns that we need to validate what a person said. We need to offer a solution for what they said. And then we want to give a follow-up question. So for example, if I asked Kira, you know, I've asked her the 4 questions, and when I asked her, what concerns do you have about doing Pampered Chef? Maybe she said, I don't feel like I know enough people. So I was going to validate by saying, Kira, I heard you say that you're concerned because you don't feel like you know enough people. And when some consultants, when they're starting their business, they will join chambers of commerce or book clubs, or they'll put business cards up in coffee shops, or they will get involved with farmers markets or craft fairs. Do you feel like any of those solutions could work for you? Or are you comfortable with trying any of those ideas? And so you're validating. Akira said she doesn't feel like she knows a lot of people. You're giving some suggestions, and then you're asking that person, are you willing to try it? Did any of those ideas spark your interest? And it's really important that we listen to what people say, because sometimes their biggest concern, we can ease them, but before the conversation has ended. So anybody have any thoughts or questions about those 4 questions to ask? Because if we're comfortable with when we have obstacles, and we can give solutions, that can make all the difference. Anybody have anything to share? Okay, so again, what's most important is you don't want to freak out. Don't overthink it. It's just a conversation. Have you ever thought about it? And then we need to listen to what they say. So we are still working on our skills as we look at the 4 pillars. Again, we talked about this in We've talked about this in the previous weeks. If any crack in one of those pillars, if a crack forms, we're going to have a problem with our structure. So we are still working on our skills. Skills are such a major component of our success. The more we tweak our skills, the more we learn about selling, host coaching, booking, recruiting, and the better and stronger our business will be. The bigger our skill, the bigger our paycheck. So, do you have any general questions about anything that's been shared so far? Anything you want to clarify? Any thoughts that have come to mind?
It's just a quiet group, huh?
A quiet group. All right, so here's our call to action. So you want to continue making your 15 contacts, and again, have a system that you can keep track of your contacts. Kathy Cocazella shared with us a couple of years ago a notebook. That works for me. Old business and new business. Thumbs up if you know what I'm talking about with the 10 old business and the 5 new. Because if not, it's nothing fancy, but I can share it with the group. But you want to have a system, because the worst thing is to leave a message or tell someone you're going to get back to them, and then that potential lead falls through the cracks. Now, I'm really excited about this next piece because Kristen and I both know Brenda Coppy and Genevieve Black, and these 2 ladies know their stuff. They are top recruiters. Brenda just promoted to executive, and Genevieve was one of the founders, top 20 in recruiting. So you want to go to Pampered Chef University, go to recruiting, and then under peer sharing, you want to click the link that says recruiters-copy-black. And those two ladies, I actually sat in on a conference they ran, our class they ran together last year, and these two ladies really, really know how to add people to their teams. So this is a great one to pay attention to. Then you want to share with your recruiter at least 5 takeaways. You want to watch the YouTube video on the yes form. And I was fooling around with YouTube last night trying to find it. And I think it's from Stacy, isn't it, Kristen?
I believe so. If
Okay,
you
so
don't have it,
that's-
I'll look tonight and post it if I can find it.
Okay, so I didn't find it, but I was looking under Jennifer. So if you go onto YouTube and find the yes form, that's definitely worth checking out. If you also want to look on YouTube, anything under Jennifer Courtney, who again is the person who put the 6 weeks together. She and Courtney is Courtney, and she has a lot of good information. She has, I believe, over 800 videos on YouTube, so check her out. And then print out the yes form and use it at every party that you have for the rest of August and into September. But again, that Kit Credit coupon Abby shared, and then the yes form, and it's just a conversation.
And I'll see if I can find that yes form somewhere, or do you have it, Sue, that we can share with our teams?
I had an old one from Stacy a couple of years ago, so I'll look also.
Yeah, I say we'll post within our teams so that you guys can have that form and give that a try at your parties.
So the last slide is again saying thank you for being with us tonight, and we are running a little bit ahead, and there's nothing wrong with hanging up a little early, but we do not want to shortchange. You two ladies gave us your time tonight to be here. Do you have any questions, thoughts, anything that we can help as far as, you know, starting that conversation, materials to include, anything at all that we can help you with tonight?
Hey, since Lisa's on the call and you had mentioned her purse activity, I'm curious about that.
Is she on the call?
Share that?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, so I bragged about you with your purse game. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah. So you can either use the same cards that Sue talked about in the Stealing Hearts games. Sometimes I use cards, sometimes I use tickets, but I have them all get their purses, or like if there's men there, I say get your purses or wallets and have it near you. And then I have letters like this one. This one is just a P, but I printed this out and then I put it in a page protector or whatever. And so I hold the letter up and they need to find something in their purse or their wallet that starts with that letter. And then whoever finds something first gets the card or the ticket. And then I say, you know, like this one, P is for party, because when I'm going to work, I'm going to party. And then I have like T for travel and D for deductions. But it is all talking about the business. But it makes it fun because they're like competing to get the card first. But it also, then I have enough that they ask questions, any other questions that may not have already been answered with the letters that I have. And then that actually, it's a good, I don't know, kind of break from me just sitting there showing product and that kind of stuff, but they also start thinking of other questions. So I've had quite a bit of success since I started that first game.
So just for clarification, are you spelling a word with those letters, or you just have random letters that are for the product you want to share? I mean, the benefit you want to share.
It is just random letters that go with the benefits that I want to share.
So
yeah.
What are your letters?
I have.
We all want to steal your idea.
I have P for party. I have M for money. F is for freedom and flexibility. I have the D for deduction. S is for support. And I got a lot of these off of a recruiting flyer, like some of the bullet points that they had on there. And then I made a letter out of it. And then I have T for travel, and I talk about all of the trips. I feel like I had one more, but, oh yeah, H. And the H is for hosts. Because I say H is for hosts, because hosts are the heart of my business. And I talk about the hosting again in that one also.
Oh, good. Thank you for sharing. I always like new ideas.
And then Lisa, really quickly tell us, you started a Google form on your virtual shows.
Mm-hmm.
So what questions, First of all, so Abby and Kira, are you familiar? Thumbs up if you two ladies are doing virtual shows. Okay. Are you two familiar with Google Docs and making a door prize slip?
Actually, that's the part I want to hear.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So I'm not strong in technology. So Lisa, walk us through what because you had, tell the ladies what happened in the month of July and how many shows you had running, and tell us a little bit about your Google Doc.
So in the month of July, I did the picture on Facebook, if you love Pampered Chef, pick a number. And then I did, they pick their number, and then I messaged them that they, congratulations, you picked the lucky number. So you're if you host a show, and I did July, you will get a free product from me after your show holds. So I got 9 virtual parties from that, which was kind of great. I had some other ones going. So I had 10 shows running at once, 11 shows running at once. Now on the Google form part, I'm gonna be honest. My daughter created that for me. I can do it now, but my daughter created it for me. But I do know Amber found, right? She's kind of getting tough on me. She's like, Mom, this is your business. You have to learn how to do some of this stuff. But I know Amber found I think it was a YouTube video, and posted that, right, Amber? Okay.
Is she on this also?
Yeah, she's muted though.
She's muted.
Oh, okay.
I can unmute. Yeah, I shared it on the Masterminds group, and I could probably copy it into our little messaging group. But yeah, the YouTube video by Charlotte and a guy is really helpful.
Can one of you guys do a screen share that we can see it real quick? Is it
Probably,
possible?
because Sue stopped sharing.
Yeah,
So how do you?
So somebody else can share.
I can, if
I
I
don't know if it's
figure out how to screen share, I can.
Go to the top of your screen, and you'll see where it says screen share, and then you.
Oh, share
add it
screen.
and-
Okay, mine's on the bottom.
Okay, bottom, top, wherever.
Okay, yeah.
It's different whether it's a
Are you on
laptop
your
or
computer,
iPad.
Lisa? It might be easier. I'm on my iPad.
No, yeah, I'm on my computer. Let me bring mine up really quick. Let me bring up my form.
Okay. Well, and I just realized I had somebody that commented I did something wrong, and I've got to go back and figure it out, because somehow Charlotte has 2 different forms, 2 different videos of 2 different forms. You could do a really basic one, or you can do a complex one. I did the complex one. I just jumped in with both feet and went for the complex one, which maybe I shouldn't have, because apparently it is requiring them to set a party date.
Oh,
Like, you can't fill out this
That's a
form
good
unless
idea.
you book a party. So I actually, nobody had a problem with it. I didn't notice it for 5 or 6 parties, but only a percentage of people were filling it out, so I maybe am up to 20 people total out of 8 parties or 10 parties. I don't know how many I've used it on. But I just recently had somebody that said, I'm sorry, I really wanted to fill out the form, but I am not ready to book a party. So I was like, well, you don't have to book a party. So yeah, make sure you don't make it a requirement. I don't even know how that happened.
All right, can you
How
guys
do
see
you
that?
guys, do you guys
Nice.
ask them, do you guys just post it at some point during the party, or do you require it to be part of the party, or how do you do that?
I have
You
mine
just put it
set
up
as
there
one of
and
my
ask people to
first.
fill it out?
I have it set as one of my first posts in the party, and then my thing says something like, so I guess I said it after I talk about myself, because one of my first posts is a picture of me, and I say a live show, here's where you would hear me talk about myself, how I became a Pampered Chef rep, and all that kind of stuff. And then the next one is, now it's my turn to get to know you. Please fill out this form. And not everybody fills them out, but I do. That's how I do it. Can you guys see it?
mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes.
Good
Okay.
job sharing.
Yeah. So this one is just, thanks. Remember, I'm on Sue's team. I don't do technology all that well either.
I'm so proud of you. Yay, Lisa.
I didn't even call Haley out of the other room. So, so this is pretty basic. But this is, so I ask them for their email address, their first and last name, their address, phone number, For some reason, email's on here twice. I'm gonna have to check that out. I asked him for the date and the host because this same Google form goes to every show. It's the same link to every one. So I have had to add the date and the host, and then how they prefer to be communicated with. If they want a paper catalog, and then I mail them one.
Okay, hold on. Go back up. You're scrolling too quickly here.
Sorry. How far up?
Right there is good for me, but I can't speak for anybody else.
Well, Sue, you should watch Charlotte's because it's different when you're making it. Like to make it, there's a lot of fancy buttons to push that I would never figure out without watching Charlotte push the buttons.
Yeah, I just liked the word choices, so that's.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm doing. Okay, keep going.
Okay. So here's the last of mine.
And then if they click yes on learning about hosting, does yours take it to other questions? Or
No.
do you just follow up with them?
I just follow up.
Okay. See,
Is
that's
Google
where.
Docs- Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Abby.
I was just going to ask, is Google Docs something that you pay for, or is it just something that you have to
It's free.
go
It's
to?
free.
Is it just
And
a
this one
website?
you just go to Google Forms.
Okay.
Yeah, so just go googleforms.com.
Okay. Thanks.
And basically, it looks like, I mean, this is just a basic door prize, but the key is with virtual parties is, you know, getting this information and then following up, because I
Yep.
know without using this, you may, or, you know, if they don't ever place an order, you don't have their information.
Right.
So you can't follow up. At least this way, there might be a few other people that you might get some information from if they don't order.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you for sharing.
Sure.
And is Google Docs easy to do? So like us people that are untechy can figure it out?
Yeah, it is easy to do. I mean, I created my first one, and I didn't know that I was actually logged into my cousin's Google on my computer because she had done stuff here for her company. And so then I was busy doing something else. So Haley got on and created this one for me in my own Google. So really, I mean, I can do it. So it really is easy.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
And I would imagine there's YouTube videos on how to do Google Docs.
Yes.
I'm sure there's lots of generic ones, but yeah, watching the one that Charlotte did was really helpful because I just had it when one screen, and then I'd close that screen and do it on, you know, Google Docs, making my form, and then go back to watching her and pause. You know, I just kept pausing her as I was doing exactly what she did.
For those of you on my team, I'll try to look up some of these videos and post them on our team page so everybody has easy access to them.
Who did you say the name of the person was that you YouTube to find all of this?
Charlotte and a guy.
Okay,
And
perfect.
last
That's what I
name-
thought.
Yeah, Nagai, I believe.
Nagai.
AI.
Okay.
Nagai.
Nag. Okay.
And she's the one who's run her business 100% virtually. So for you two who do a lot of virtual, you probably get great information. And she also has a ton of YouTube videos out there.
Yeah, I think I've come across her, but the name sounds familiar, so I'm sure that I have some connection there. But
Yeah.
So I just want to end my little component here by talking. I share with my team all the time. If you're doing a live show, because I would say probably 90% of my business is live shows. If you're doing a live show, my advice is that you never ever shortchange the full service checkout. That to me is where the magic happens. It's really important to tell everybody. So basically, let me set the scene of how I do it. I bring my barbecue grilling basket to every single show. First of all, I'm from the East Coast. I've learned since moving here that people in Colorado grill year round. And I bring that, it's a reminder to talk about grilling products. But what I'll do is I will tell everybody, I'm going to be sitting here at the dining room table, or I'm going to be here at the end of the counter, When you are ready to give me, to go over your order form, I'm going to ask you to give me 2 or 3 minutes of your time, because I want to give you the time you deserve to answer any questions. And I will ask all of you about considering the business and considering hosting a show. And I say that out loud because now I'm going to hold myself accountable. And if there's anybody in that audience who is nervous, they now expect these 2 questions. I'm not going to catch anybody off guard. The reason for my barbecue grilling basket is if Kristen and I were sitting side by side, I don't want the line of customers, and then that line makes me nervous and I'm going to shortchange Kristen. So if Amber's done with her order, I'll say, if I'm working with somebody, you are welcome to come and put your order form face down in the grilling basket and then go back and eat and socialize. And when I'm done talking with this person, I will just call you and ask you to come over for 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll pull from the bottom. And that eliminates the line that you feel panicked, because it's not fair to shortchange the person who's sitting with you. But I will never, ever shortchange my full service checkout, because it's really important to have those 2 or 3 minutes to have that conversation about potential interest in the business. So that's my advice. If you ever have to shortchange anything, don't make it your wrap up. Don't make it the full service checkout. Now, I will also tell you that we have a team member who runs a very successful online business. And when somebody places an order, she will thank them publicly in the thread of the virtual show, and she'll tell them that she's going to send them a message, and then she will start the conversation and have full service checkout on Facebook, private messaging. And she'll do the same thing with her virtual shows. So that's just helped me with the management style, because I got tired of everybody lining up, and that wasn't fair to the person. And then I felt rushed, and you want to have those 2 to 3 minutes to talk with them. So that's my last piece of advice. And then, just the grilling basket keeps it controlled.
So I have a quick question, Sue. Do you just get up then when you're done with somebody and you go get the next one?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So sometimes you'll have 2 or 3 people chit-chatting in the doorway. And I've asked, and the other thing is I ask them to put the orders in the grilling basket, not just hold them, because I don't want to just randomly pull somebody. I want to go in order. I want to be thoughtful to the people as they finished. So I'll just grab the bottom one and I'll say, oh, okay, Abby, come on in and talk with me for a few minutes. You're next. And I make it, or come on down, you're the next contestant, just have fun with it. But that's what I do, because it just keeps it manageable, and I'll just pull from the bottom.
Awesome. I know I've heard you do that a million times, and I still am not
well,
good at
way
doing
back
that.
when we started, my director told me to make a table tent and have the table tent facing the person. And if I don't ask you about the business or a show, I will pay your shipping. I don't want to pay shipping. There's no commission on that. So I did that table tent once, and somebody called me on it. You only burn yourself once until you remember. So I just found that if I say it out loud, that everybody knows I'm going to ask those questions, and then I have the barbecue grilling basket. It works for me. So find a system that works for you. Anything else from anybody else? Did that help, Kira and Abby? Did that Google Docs help a little bit?
Yeah.
I got a thumbs up from Kira's assistant. All right.
She's currently sitting on my lap because of the storm outside.
Fun.
I'm not a huge fan of virtual parties, but it seems like that's mostly what I've gotten. So any tips that I can get on virtual parties is always really helpful, and all parties really, because I'm like 2 months in. 2.5 months in. So
That's why we like to do these calls, because you always learn something, especially when we're interacting with different groups. You're going to hear different ideas. So,
well, and it's such
everybody else participating.
Yeah, it's such an awesome. I have to say, like, Pampered Chef is amazing with support. Like, I feel like it's the greatest support system that I've experienced in anything like this. And so, thank you guys for doing this, because it helps me a lot. So.
Well, and I appreciate that. And I'm 15 years with Pampered Chef, and tonight was my very first screen share. So yay! We're all learning together. But I agree with you 100% for the support, because if you have a question, first of all, you're not going to be the only person with that question, and everybody brings value to the table, and somebody's going to have that answer. So, and there is some great training on virtual shows too. So when you're exploring PCU, check that out, because what did they say at conference? 1/3 of the sales coming into the company are because of virtual shows. 1/3
They
of
just uploaded amazing images too. You have to go to the new image
Well-
gallery. Beautiful, beautiful.
And along those same lines, if you guys go under the training and resources tab, they've updated the party training. So it used to say like cooking shows, and then you went to station style or virtual or whatever. Now it just says, I think it's training and resources, party training. And then within there are catalog, fundraisers, wedding, virtual, cooking shows. And under cooking is demonstration style, station style. I mean, the training, how they've just updated that, that's the new, the new way they're doing all the, how they're upgrading all of Consultants Corner. But that particular party training site now has been updated, and it's amazing training. So check it out, even for, new ideas for virtual parties or for doing station style or whatever.
One last thing, because now we're running over, so I apologize. One last thing I heard about virtual shows, which I thought was really clever. If you check out the party packs and you pick fajitas and margaritas theme, you really like that, you want to incorporate that into a virtual show, then you could spend, if you do a 3 or 5, 7-day show, only show the products that are going to be used to create the recipe on that party pack. So if you were going to do fajitas and margaritas, you could focus on 3 or 4 products per day rather than feel the need to share everything in the catalog. Pick a recipe, because if you think about it, when we do a home show, we're only bringing the product we need to demo that recipe. So if you want to tweak it for virtual, pick a theme and only focus on the products that you would use to create that theme. And some people have tried that and had great success, because that generates excitement for future bookings. Because if you're showing certain product and Kira really wanted to see something else, your immediate response would be, Kira, when you book your show, that's the first product I'll share, or that's the first product I'll put in my crate. But I thought that was a clever way to incorporate the technology they're giving us from the party packs and incorporate that into virtual. So if that makes sense, I thought that was a clever approach. So with that, I have nothing else to share from our script. Kristen, anything you want to do to wrap it up, or just let everybody know that our next call is next Tuesday night, and Janet will be leading.
Next Tuesday night.
22nd.
Yep, that's it. So thank you, Sue. I appreciate you leading today. You did an awesome job as always. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for everybody for joining in. And this was recorded, so I'll be putting out the recording link to everybody tomorrow, so you can listen again, and or for directors on the team, share with those that couldn't make it so they can stay caught up. Anyway, so good. Thanks, everybody.
Thank
Have
you.
a good rest of your night.
Good night.
What is it?